I need to get this out of the way first. The official title, in Japanese, is Appletown Story. I know the characters read Appletown Monogatari, but, per Square, the characters for Monogatari in the title should be read as story. I think they were just trying to maximize confusion, especially since they have the title of the US version on the front of the box as well. Little Computer People was one of the very first life simulators. Or I guess you could call it a virtual dollhouse. I can't say it was a big hit in its original format, and these days it's mainly remembered for being one of the major inspirations behind The Sims. There aren't actually a whole lot of changes between the original Little Computer People and Appletown Story. The character is now a little girl, and the interface has been streamlined so it's just a few icons. And the layout of the house has changed. And they added one really weird feature, which I'll get to in a bit. But, for the most part, you're going to get the same experience playing Appletown Story as you would playing Little Computer People. And 99% of that experience is just watching them go about their day. This is a virtual pet, not something where you're really directing them. It starts at 7 a.m. with the alarm clock going off, and eventually the unnamed girl will get out of bed, turn it off, and take care of things. She'll get dressed, brush her teeth, feed her cat, and for the most part, she does everything without any interaction from you. If you hit the A button, you can bring up a row of icons, and some of these will trigger interactions, but most of them are just to order more of whatever. From left to right, you've got the phone, which will trigger a phone call, and she'll just go upstairs and talk. The letter, which causes a letter to be delivered. Anytime something is delivered, it goes to the front door of the house, and that's in the bottom right-hand corner. Then there's the food icon, which will cause another meal to be delivered to her. There's 3 consumable items in the game, and she can only have 2 of them in her house at any given time. So when she uses one, you just hit the icon and have another one delivered. The milk icon is another one of those, and so is the cat icon because it represents cat food. She never actually interacts with her cat. Now if you run out of any of these resources, then she'll sound an alarm and get angry the next time she needs one. And if this goes on, then she'll just leave the house. You can't starve her to death. She won't return either, so it's kind of a game over state. The FC is a Famicom. You can have a Famicom delivered to the house by selecting this icon. And then from time to time, she'll just go upstairs and play. There's no point in hitting it a second time because it's only good for delivery, and she can only have one Famicom. The heart's a bit different from the other commands, so I'm going to skip it right now and move on to the music, and this causes her to go upstairs and play the piano. Brushing her teeth, playing video games, or playing the piano trigger a cutscene, and in the case of the piano, this can go on for over a minute. If you select the heart, then you go to a whole new screen. And here you can get your horoscope, check your compatibility with the girl by entering your blood type, because doing any kind of compatibility check with a person in a computer program is definitely not weird. And you can do what it claims is tarot, but really it's just randomly flipping over cards until the Joker shows up. If you do well enough in these, it'll affect her mood, which can help avoid the leave and never come back ending. Also, it really looks like she's flipping you off. She'll eventually go to bed at 10 p.m., and then time zips ahead to 7 a.m. the next day. It takes about an hour and a half to go through a full day in Appletown Story. And the only thing that really changes as time passes is the color of the sky. There's one other detail that can change as you go, and that's the girl's name. When you start playing, there's a very long introduction sequence that can't be skipped. And at the end of it, she tells you her name. It's picked from a list of about 60 possible options. While I was recording, her name was Kathy, but you might get something else. There are a lot of weird Easter eggs in Appletown Story. They're mostly triggered by lengthy inputs on the second player controller. They don't really have an effect on the action. You can just do things like make a spooky picture appear in the background. It's just one more small thing that you can do to amuse yourself here. And that's all there is to this. It just cycles forever. The opinions from Japanese players that I could find were mainly, this is a neat idea that doesn't really work anymore. And that's kind of my view. This is historically significant, but the novelty in the 1980s was watching the little person in your computer, or Famicom. That doesn't really exist anymore. Appletown Story is the kind of thing where it's worth giving a look just for the history, but you're not going to want to spend any time with it.